Hello. Hi. Alright. Trying to keep this all making sense. Oddly enough, this sound is louder than the last game I was playing. Hi. Hello. We're here. We're not going to be streaming for too long tonight. I just want to play a little bit more Virche, and since I was off today and I had plans, we had a stream this morning, and we played him and the smile that blooms. He, the smile and bloom this morning, so we're playing Virche tonight. Seems right to save it for nighttime. And then tomorrow I'll probably be playing Zelda a little bit tomorrow night. I still don't like him. We'll see. Maybe he'll become our favorite guy. But as we already know, I usually pick my characters by who I think is going to be my least favorite to most favorite, so maybe I did it right. Zelda! Yeah, I'm excited. My goal is to finish it before May. Which, by the way, the light, I have one of them off right now. I think the lighting's okay. It's kind of dark. It kind of matches the vibe. I was checking out, like, all this stuff randomly before I got started, and then realized I could be playing. So we're still in this one. This is supposed to be, like, the bad ending. It just hasn't ended yet, and last time I had to go. But yes, my goal is to finish Breath of the Wild before May. It's still February. If I only do one stream-ish a week of it, I think I should be fine. Oh, that's right. At the stroke of midnight, the Institute's emergency alarm went off. I totally forgot we're in a state of emergency. Fearing what might happen, Yves and I huddled together trying to understand the situation. Also, my hair is really wavy because I just took it out of the braid I had it in earlier, and we just dyed it, so she's sensitive, which is why I'd put her in a braid to begin with. I'm basically soaking her in leave-in conditioner until she gets soft again. But I'm going to take a shower after I stream, which is another reason I'm only going to stream for a couple of hours because I want to wash my hair again. She's in the fragile state of, why are you hurting me? I don't understand. Yes, once it's done. So the top is going to get one more hit of bleach once it's got its chance to breathe. The ends, I feel like this is light as it's going to get from the blue. This is a lot lighter than it was, but like the blue wasn't coming out anymore. She wasn't doing it. So I was like, well, we got to do something because like I was waiting for it to naturally get light and we did it in October. It's February. It's still blue. Like I was like, it's time. It's time for a treatment. So once that's done, I might have a new color soon, question mark. I bought a new color. We'll see if I do it. I don't know. I'm really bad about actually using, we have so much, by the way. I'm really bad about using the colors I buy because then I'll change my mind after we buy them. So we'll see. We'll see if I turn the color. You'll be surprised or you won't be. I think it's a color I've had before while streaming. So I'm not doing blue again, or purple because this is the second time I've had it, this color where it's like taking forever to come out. I'm just done. I'm done with blue and purple at this point. It's a pretty color. Can't transition very easily. The Hot rushed in with a look of panic. He paid no mind to the messier than usual state of his lab coat from the running this way.
大変です。何を狂ったのか、王族の皆さんが。
To be fair, green was actually the other color I was talking about doing instead of the purple I got in October. This is terrible. I don't know what's wrong with them, but the royal family,
この国を囲う海岸沿いのリコリスの花畑全体に火を放ちました。
They set fire to all the Lycoris fields on the island's coast. He shouted out the state of the matter as if it was the worst thing that could happen. The Lycoris fields?
まさか呪いや変死の原因がリコリスにあると勘違いして。
It can't be. Did they think that the curse of death was caused by the Lycoris?
あるいはリコリスの花を重要視しだしたシアンさんを出し抜こうとしたのか。
That, or they wanted to get the upper hand on Sheen for discovering the importance of the Lycoris. How could they?
リコリスは災いの花ではなく災いを封じる花だ。そんなことをしたら。
The Lycoris aren't flowers of misfortune. They're flowers that seal away misfortune with that happening. Eve swallowed and looked up at the image shared throughout the Institute on the situation unfolding outside.
リコリスが封じていた毒素がアルペシェール全土に蔓延してしまう。
The toxins Lycoris were sealing away are going to be spread all through Arpichel. Yeah, everybody's gonna die. Woo, death, right? Great bedtime story. Mathis, I wish I could care more about you. I really wish I could. Like, you seem fine most of the time. It's so painful. It's so hard to breathe.
坊ちゃん
Man, he's still playing around. Master,
バカな。なんでここに来て呪いが。
how was the curse
生
here?
まれたてのこいつだけは絶対に寿命が訪れるはずがないのに。
I vowed to myself to make sure he lived a full life.
一体この国に何が起きてる。ロザリーと再会する前に死んでたまるかよ。
What's happening in this country? I can't die, not before being reunited with Rosalie. Yeah, Rosalie's dead, so technically.
イブ
Yeah, Eve's. Aw, man. Good luck with that.
外部とつながる空調システムをすべて切れ。多
Cut
少
off
息
all
苦しくなる
ventilation
が
systems.
死ぬよりはマシだ。
Connected to the outside, lack of fresh air is better than dying.
職員並びに警備兵には外に出ないようすでに通達している。
I've already put out a notice to the staff and guards not to go outside.
はい。
Right. Sheen has returned and understood the change in events more quickly than Dahat.
シアンさん、俺たちに何かできることは。
Sheen, is there anything we can do to help?
後で指示する。俺が最低限の処理をしている間、情報整理でもしてろ。こいつとな。
I'll give you orders later while I take the essential precautions. You go and sort this out with him. With that, Sheen operated some stone slates, and behind him, through the entrance, a few guards brought in a man in heavy shackles. Dr. Capuchin?
どうして先生がここに。
Why is the doctor here?
話すと長くなっちゃうんですけど。
It's a bit of a long story. You see, he's actually a psychopath who likes to splice up people's genetic codes in order to create monsters. He has a fascination with children in that aspect as well. Also, he's actually a reliver that just doesn't have reliver eyes because he actually altered his DNA through coding. And he took over a cult that was ran by the queen, who was also a reliver, who changed her DNA through coding. Anyways, it's crazy.
摘発したエクソシスト教団の違法研究に関わっていたのがこの人というかオーティさんでして。
This man is Orti. He was involved in the illegal research that the Society of Exorcists were conducting. You know, naturally. Feeling awkward, the hot scratched his cheek as he scrutantly explained the past misdeeds of Dr. Capuchin. Dr. Capuchin, how could you do something so terrible? How could you splice DNA and create things that you consider beautiful?
それが本当なら自警団としても放っておくことはできないけど。
You can do whatever you want, guys. You've got a knife for. Why did they leave your sword with you? You should be wearing your white outfit, not that outfit, because this one has a sword on your hip. Why aren't you using it? If that's true, then we can't exactly relinquish him to the corpse.
彼の罪を問う時間すらないんだよね。
But we don't really have time to question him about his sins right now, right?
はい。1分1秒を争う事態です。シアンさん曰く、いてマイナスにはならない3下らしいので。
Right. Every minute, every second counts. According to Sheen, he's an underling who won't hurt to have around.
人手不
So
足の今、対応を手伝ってもらうことにしました。
As we're understaffed right now, we're going to have him help deal with things here.
この私がシアンブロフィワーズに従
I
う
will
など
never obey Shin Borofi. But if you don't handle things quickly enough, we'll all be dead.
そうだね。研究所での籠城もいつまで持つかわからないし、
Right. We don't know how long we'll be able to hold out here in the Institute.
今は敵味方の立場を忘れ、協力するしか生き残る道はない。
She's not even thinking about mom and all the orphans right now, is she? We need to forget about enemies and allies. The only way to survive is through cooperation.
言われなくても分かっている。理想の花嫁をこの手にするまで死んでたまるものか。
Continue just to hate this guy. Of course I understand that. I refuse to die before I get my hands on my dream bride. Bride? I didn't know who he was talking about, but Capuchin did seem willing to cooperate. Sheen must have given him access to the Institute's system as screens appeared in front of Dahat and Capuchin's hands.
シアンさんから情報が届きました。リコリスの花畑を燃やしたのは、やはり王族で間違いないようです。
We have information from Sheen. There's no mistake that it was the royal family who burned the Lycoris fields.
シアンブロフィワーズがリコリスの花畑を調査し始めたのを。
Perhaps they're misunderstood and thought Brophy's investigation into the
呪いに関
Lycoris
する実験材料になりうると勘違いしたか。あるいは誰かにそそのかされたのか。
was because that they could be used as test subjects on the curse, or they might have been convinced of such by someone else.
火をつけたこの兵たちは今頃花畑で物言うの死体になり下がっているだろう。
I'm sure the royal guard soldiers that set the fires are silent corpses in the fields by
予
now.
測によると毒素の濃度は彼女が放出するもののおよそ10倍以上。
According to these estimates, the density of toxins are over 10 times greater than what Leah might produce. And let's keep in mind, Leah will kill somebody within 24 hours. So it's 10 times faster than 24 hours.
常人がまともに取り込めば数分いや1分で死に至るだろう。
Oh shit. Alright, I guess. If a normal person inhales a large amount, they'll die in a few... No, let's say a single minute. Then all the people in
家
town...
の中にいる人たちはまだ生きてると思いますが、換気をしてしまった人や外に出てしまった人はほぼ全滅でしょうね。
I think people in their homes would still be alive, but anyone outside or with an open window would be dead. No!
そういえば、オーティさんは病院を運営してましたよね。
Come to
入院
think
し
of
ている
it,
患者さんは大丈夫なんです？
you manage the hospital, don't you, Orty?
おそらく無事だろうさ。特に重症患者の部屋は夜間開くことを原則禁止している。
I suspect they're fine. Rooms for critically ill patients are strictly secured and prohibited from being opened at night.
そうですか。ならよかった。
I see. That's good to know.
被害者をこれ以上出さない方法は？
Lucas is dead in this reality, right? Right. What can be done so there aren't any more victims?
ない。と言いたいところだが。
I thought nothing at first, but...
全てとは言わずとも火災を鎮火させることができればまだ蔓延の速度は下がるだろう。
If the fire... For just a second, I thought they were blinking in sync. They're not. Okay, they're all off. Well, they did that kind of in a row. If the fires could just be put out, the speed of the spread should
逆に
cease.
言えば
But put the other
こ
way.
のまま炎が広がりアルペシエール全土のリコリスを全て焼き尽くしてしまったが最後
If fires continue and all of the Lycoris across Arpachella burn,
生き残りがいたとして確実に全滅してしまう。
any remaining survivors will eventually die as well. That would be the end of it all. You know what? I'm down. I'm down. Let's end it all, guys. Silent Hill did it first, but I'll give you a pass. It wouldn't take an invasion by a foreign country or a civil war, but a curse that would destroy Arpachella in the end.
東以外には通り雨が降っているので、火はそのうち弱まるでしょうが、
There's rain passing through everywhere but the east, so it'll extinguish the fire first. Soon. But I suspect it would be difficult to put out the fires that are spreading through the fields now. Anyone who tried getting close to them to put them out would die right away.
必要なのは人手と大量の水、そしてそれを燃え盛る花畑へ一斉に放射する方法だね。
What we need are people and tons of water and some way to unleash all of it across the burning fields.
水。余るほどにある海水を花畑にかければいいのでは？
From recent events, no. There's more water than we need in the ocean. Can we pour that on the
そ
fields?
れはできない。海水を大地にまけば土壌が傷む。
No, we couldn't do that. Pouring seawater onto the ground would damage the
結
soil.
果新たなリコリスを植えることができず、寿命を削る羽目になったら本末転倒だ。
We'd be unable to plant new lycrises and we'd all die early regardless.
でもそれ以外の大量の水ってなると。
But another large body of water is something
あるぞ。
we do have. Sheen, who had been taking care of urgent matters, rolled back his shoulders as he rejoined. He's like, oh, yeah, let's go.
王族が素直に吐いた。この国の地下には大量の薬液が通る巨大な水路が存在しているらしい。
The royal family told me there's a large waterway network under the island that's filled with medicine.
大量の薬液？何のためにそんな。
Filled with medicine? Why would they do that?
そこまで尋問する時間はなかった。
I didn't have
唯一
time to
言えるこ
question
と
them.
は、
The one thing I can
そ
say,
の薬液に発火性はなく、火にくべたところで成分が多少気化される程度ということだ。
the medicine isn't flammable and the compounds vaporize when exposed to a flame.
まさか地下の薬液を汲み上げ花畑にかけろなんて無茶を言うつもりではないだろうな。
You can't possibly be suggesting that we collect this medicinal water and extinguish the fields with it?
そんな時間もコストもかかる馬鹿げた策を取るはずがないだろう。逆だ逆。
I'd never propose such an idiotic plan so costly in time and energy. It's precisely the
組み
opposite.
上げるのが不可能なら、リコリスの方を地下へ叩き落とせばいい。
If we can't bring the water out, we simply need to drop the Lycoris into it.
そうか。一部のリコリスだけでいいなら、その方法でなんとかなる。
So that sounds preposterous. This plan sounds terrible. We just need to How would you drop? I don't care if there's waterways. Is there openings? Like, okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's a video game. I'm fine. I see. If we just need to do a portion of the Lycoris, that might be
仮
possible.
に火が消えなかったとしても、地上で燃え続けるよりは地下に移した方がずっといい。
Picture something like a sprinkler system, but no, we're just gonna drop Lycoris into this. Even if the fires can't be extinguished, it's better to move them underground. How can you move a fire? It's, by definition, not something that you can just pick up. It's better to move them underground instead of letting them burn on the surface.
だがその策を用いるとなると花畑がある場所の地盤を上下から同時に砕く必要がある。
But if we're to execute this plan, we would need to break through the ground from above and
今
below.
からそれほど強力な爆薬を作ることはさすがの貴様も不可能ではないか？
I'm sure it's impossible for even you to plant that many explosives, correct?
心配するな。爆薬ならすでに用意されている。なあ、ダハト。
Not to worry, we already have the explosives we need, right, Dahat? Why are you asking Dahat
気
that?
にするな。ともかく強力な爆薬はクリア。残るは
Don't worry about it. In any case, we have high-powered explosives. What's next?
それを設置する方法ですかね。
Finding a way to plant them?
地下水路内に仕掛けるのは誰にでもできる簡単なお仕事だとして。
Planting
問題
them
は
through the underground network is a simple job anyone could do. The issue is, above ground, it's almost impossible to set them in the field, right? Getting near Lycoris that have released their toxins would kill anyone. Anyone except Yves. We fell silent, unable to think of anything about the situation.
それって逆に言えば
Putting it another way,
燃える花畑を前にして少しでも長く生きることができるなら可能性はあるってことだよね。
if someone could manage to stay alive in the burning fields, it's possible it could work, right? Yves offered a possibility that sounded impossible.
何をバカなことを。
Baka. That's
一面
ridiculous.
に蔓延する毒素の中で一般的なアルペシエル国民がまともに生きていられるはず。
No normal person at Arpachel would be able to survive in a fog of toxins spreading across the island. Actually, have they ever established if the toxins in the air affect adults? Wait, I felt my spine freeze with fear as Capuchin said no normal person from Arpachel could approach the Lycoris fields in that case.
23年以上生きることのできるアルペシエル国民がいたら
How about someone from Arpachel who can live past 23 years? You can't do this. Knowing what he was about to say, I grabbed Yves' hand with all of my strength. Even if your genes do have resistance to the toxin, it's not as if it has no effect to you at all. Your chromosomes are just affected more slowly than others. You've already been weakened because of me, so if you go in the middle of the toxins in this condition,
死ぬかもしれないね。
it's true I might die. It's like highly probable. Yves gently held my hand and lowered
この
them.
ままじゃ大切な人たちが全員死んでしまう。
At this rate, all the people who care for me will die.
今までたくさん
I've
辛
been
い思い
through
をしてきたけど
so much pain. This feels like them trying not to make a sad cry face for him because this just looks like upset. Not like upset, like sad, more like annoyed. And I don't know. I feel like it's the second time they've used this to like be like, he's sad. And I'm like, is he? I've been through so much
俺
pain.
はこんな形で故郷を本物の死の国にはしたくない。
What's that? It's 11 o'clock at night and I'm yawning? Crazy. I don't want my homeland to become a true land of death. Then I'll go with you. You don't have to go alone.
無理ですよ。アレロパシー能力を持つあなたでは1分すら持ちません。
That won't work. With your allopathy, you won't even last a minute. I felt so helpless. I couldn't even save those who were burning at this very moment. Why did I have to suffer as the incarnation of the Lycoris, as someone with allopathy? Even at a time like this, all I can do is kill them. My vision narrowed in my frustration as everyone accepted that Yves would be heading into the field alone.
そうと決まれば、シアンさんの言う心当たりから急ぎ爆弾を回収。
If that's
最も
decided,
炎が強い
I'll collect the
東の花
explosives.
畑に設置しましょう。
Let's see them in the eastern field where the fire's
一番
strongest.
重要なのは
Set.
地盤の破壊ですから、花畑に設置する爆弾の量は最低限で済むはずです。
What's most important here is that we break the foundation. We should only need a few planted around the field to get it done.
決行は3分後。準備を整えておけ、クルーン。
We move out in 3 minutes. Be sure you're ready, Korun.
はい
Right. Imagine all you want is a boyfriend and you live in this country. Under the direction of the 3 scientists, the preparations progress rapidly. Within 3 minutes at least. Several explosives were planted in the waterway in calculated positions. Dahat said he would increase the flow of the medicinal water underground, though he didn't elaborate on how he would do so. Sheen handed a protective scarf to Yves, however, it would be mostly useless against the toxic air. Nice. Time flew by during their rapid preparation.
よし最低限体力も回復したみたいだしなんとかいけるかな。
I think my body's recovered the strength it needs. I can do this. Call his name. Say his name. Say his name. With the bag of the explosives over his shoulder, Yves prepared to leave the building as I stood watching him. Yves,
泣かないで。
don't cry. I'm not. He smiled gently, brushing away the bangs that covered my teary
笑っ
eyes.
てほしい。ともでは言わないけど、俺が必ず無事に戻ってくるって信じてほしい。
I won't go as far as to say I want you to smile, but I want you to believe in the fact that I'll be coming back alive. You're being too optimistic. Even if you do come back alive, your lifespan will.
わからないよ。何せ俺ってば、何十年も生きた始祖様に似てるんだから。
You never know, right? I'm similar to my ancestors who have lived to be dozens of years old.
案外全然平気で、余裕で帰ってこられるかもしれない。
I might be completely fine. I might even be able to come back without any struggle. Even though you were almost killed by me.
そりゃあ、好きな女の子に弱いのは男として当然というか、
It's
宿
only
命だから。
it's only natural for a guy to be weak against the girl he likes. In fact, it's practically his duty. Yves joked in a tone of his voice that suggested he actually believed it to be
だ
true.
から、無事に帰ってきたら、今度こそちゃんと話し合おう。
When I do come back alive, let's take our time to talk things out.
俺もまだ、君を恨めばいいのか、愛せばいいのか、わからないけど、
I'm still not sure if I should hate you or love you. First off,
少なくとも、ここで君との関係を終わりにはしたくないって、本気で思ってる。
at the very least, I know I don't want to end things with you here. I knew it was impossible. No matter how much I pleaded, I couldn't stop Yves. If that was the case, promise. Promise you'll come back. I haven't been able to do anything for you, not even return your love. All I could do was to force myself to believe in a power in his
ありが
words.
とう。どうか君も無事で。
Thank you, Leah. Please stay alive too. Eve smiled gently at my reply.
よし、それじゃあ、行ってくるよ。
I'll be off
君との大切な思い出が詰まった
to Lycoris
リコ
VOD
リ
where,
スを救いに。
where I've had so many memories with you. It's where I was born. I mean, my parents ripped their own hearts out at the same time. It's fine. He walked outside where there was nothing but a heavy mist of despair. Classic. Hear me out. They have these underground pathways. Certainly one of them would have been faster than actually walking out of here. I managed to keep myself from coughing up blood the moment I stepped outside. Upon my path lay corpses after corpse. Arpichel, which had been in such an uproar over the frightening death, fell silent in a single night. And there was a horrible curse that ate away at the genes of this land's people. Suddenly I could see it as a fog. I couldn't even determine whether this was reality or some kind of hallucination. A sudden heat in my heart was trying to warn me of the approaching danger. It was telling me to go back, that it would be difficult just to stay alive
俺
here.
もそう思う。
I think so too. I rushed out with such energy earlier, but I could feel my spirit about to break any second. But
俺が進まなきゃ、みんな死ぬ。
I have to keep going or everyone will
始
die.
祖様が死神との絆とし、そして俺と彼女が愛した
From the
リコリ
Lycoris
スの花によって、
From the Lycoris flowers that bound my ancestors with death, the flowers that Leah loved, the horrible fate was the one thing I would never
あの
accept.
花はこんな絶望を作り上げるために植えられたものじゃない。
Those flowers weren't planted to create such despair. At least he's passionate. I forcefully swallowed the blood erupting through my throat and ran off towards the burning flowers. It wasn't as though there were no survivors. I could hear wells, I could hear people shouting for me to save them as they vomited blood, but I couldn't stop for them now. No, in fact, if I wanted to save them, I absolutely couldn't stop right now. My head hurt. With every breath I took, I could tell the black infestation was destroying more of my genes. I'm also surprised they don't have gas mask in this universe. Like, hear me out. If you know there's this plant that like kills you, if you were to pluck it, like, and you had to do something, like let's say construction, like build these houses and buildings and stuff, but there's some plants there, like you're gonna kill 6 people to pluck them, or you're gonna like make a mask. I don't know. With every breath I took, I could tell the black infestation was destroying more of my genes. I felt something warm drip down from my lips, but I could care less for now. Forward, forward, forward. Running so that I could return to her. He could have also took a car. A car would protect you a bit more, because then it wouldn't be like outside air right away. And they have cars where they were. He has a car. Sheen has his very own car. After pushing, oh my gosh, this is such a stupid plan. After pushing away everything else my body wanted to do right now. I ran into a field that was already actively on fire. With an exhausted sigh, I made it to the burning Lycoris field.
じいさまと一緒に大切に育ててきたんだけどな。
I helped raise all of these with Grandpa, you know? I couldn't help but laugh. The cursed black flowers that possessed a hint of crimson in their petals wore a bright shade of scarlet now. I didn't have time to lament over this. I had to set the explosives as soon as I could and get away.
爆弾の設置場所は
The spot I need to set these explosives. The center of this field, about 20 meters away from where I stood. In my normal state, I would be able to run that distance in a matter of seconds. However, because I wasn't bright enough to bring myself here in a vehicle to help me not be exposed to the outside air for a shorter amount of time, I'm gonna cough up blood. Geniuses. 3 geniuses. And none of them thought, well, how about you go through the tunnel to a certain area? Or take a car. 3 geniuses. The instant I inhaled the black fog rising from the burning flowers, I vomited up the blood I had been holding back. At least it wasn't in front of the girl you liked. That'd be embarrassing. I braced myself, somehow managing to keep myself from collapsing to the ground. After only a few seconds, my chromosomes, which had until then been able to keep their normal shape, started to break down. At this rate, I would die before I took another step. In a panic, I forced a foot forward.
大丈夫だ。まだ死んでない。
I'm fine, I'm not dead yet. I had never been more grateful for being born into the Noriji family than I was now. 20 meters and another 20 meters back to get away from the center of the blast. My instincts were such that I could barely get through. I can make it. In order to grasp the glimpse of hope I saw, I took my next step forward, and then there was the sound of something being crushed. The scene around me turned upside down. I didn't understand what happened. I was directly exposed to the flames, a scorching heat very similar to before, and at the same time, heard the sound of my legs succumbing to decay. I looked at my feet to see them drenched in seeping blood pouring out from under my clothes. I had completely forgotten. The coughing fits that were a strain on my heart and throat were so great that I hadn't realized it. Contaminated chromosomes led to the destruction of the body itself. It was only natural for the body to collapse as a result. From my eyes, my nose, any torn bit of skin, erupted shocking amounts of blood. The darkest blood I had ever shed poured out of my mouth. There was so much that I was baffled by where it could all have come from. My body. I could hear it literally breaking down. Good gracious. I gazed upon the Lycoris as the flames brushed against me. I knew in a few seconds I'd fall unconscious. Even in such a short time, the flames burning away at the Lycoris continued to spread quickly. Cursing at myself, I attempted to stand up. But under so much strain, the sense of pain I'd lost from the fire ran through me again. I was a fool for making light of my situation just because I was the Drifter's descendant.
何百年と封じられていた
This is the true curse of
アルペシェ
Arpachel.
ールの本物の呪い
Sealed away for hundreds of years, like the idea that we have vehicles and we don't even use them. I was terrified. I couldn't believe how such a horrible toxin could have been born into this world. With each passing second, I could tell I was getting closer and closer to death. I was going to die. At this rate, it was the only sure thing. A horrible, gruesome death, not looked after by anyone.
あれ
I thought I imagined myself laughing just now. That was strange. Just now, why did I laugh? Maybe I was just delusional from the terror of my approaching death. It might be similar to that, but maybe it was something different. It was true that I was afraid, that I felt my own death approaching so certainly. I couldn't imagine a single reason why I would laugh. You're being too optimistic, even if you do come back.
わからない案外 あ
That was
俺
right.
は嬉しいんだ
I'm happy
本物の死の恐怖を知ることが
that I've been able to face true fear. Alright. Not sure I agree with you on that one, but alright. And that was because she blamed my death on herself. It was being proven right now that at the very least, she wasn't the greatest threat to Yves Noriji. The pain was nothing. It was tiny compared to what I was feeling now. In other words,
なんだやっぱり
I guess I was right.
この国に取り付いた本物の死神に比べれば
Is the CG from this game? Because I don't remember the CG. Compared to true death, taking hold of the land, I'm so lost. And hi! Ah, that was a delay for the redemption. That was weird. I don't
君はずっと普通の女の子だよ
You really are a normal girl, Leah. Well, when you compare me to like toxic flowers, I guess. I know that's the brooch he got from his family. This was what I believed. I was sure I wasn't alone. I hit the wrong button. I wasn't mistaken. My heart beat with strength, following the joy from being able to give affirmation to her. I wiped blood from my face with a sleeve and raised my head. An idiotic smile came over my masked face. I could feel my lips tearing apart from the smile, but I didn't care. As the flames passed by right in front of me, I dug into the ground with my shaking arms and began to crawl to the center of the field. My chromosomes were being contained, but I didn't care. Contaminated, even. This is feeling very Parasite Eve right now. My entire body, because it's like chromosomes, genes, my entire being was being taken over by a single emotion driving my body forward. Sorry, my dyslexia is really fun right now.
ただいまって言うんだ
I'm going to announce my return to her. No matter how much I might hate her, if I didn't love the person I wished so much to be with,
と世界中の愛が
all this love in
偽
this
物に
world
なる
would be a lie. I was finally reaching the center of the field, which looked like the other end of the world to me. I set the fireproof explosives down, thank God they're fireproof, and activated them as she instructed me to.
あとは起爆する前にここから離れれば。
All that's left is for me to get away from here before they detonate. Oh, baby. By the time I spoke out, dumbfounded, all the strength from my body left.
まずい。
No. The reason was simple. My body had finally reached its
この
limit.
ままじゃ爆発に巻き込まれる。
At this rate, I'll get caught in the blast. Buddy, you don't even have legs anymore. I understood that, but no matter how much strength I tried to put into my arms, I couldn't move forward. I could hear the mechanical sound of the countdown behind me. 2 minutes left, 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
くそー。
Damn it. 1 minute left. 59 seconds left. At that moment, I could feel something soft against my cheek. Yves? It couldn't be. How could it be? The woman who was supposed to be waiting for me was here, smiling with the corners of her lips stained with blood. At first, I thought she was a hallucination, but the warmth of my cheek was the same as I felt from her. Girl, how'd you get here with your up? Did they take the car? They took the
ど
car.
うして君がここに。
Took the car. Leah, what are you doing here? I shouted in despair at her appearance while facing true death. However, Leah smiled as she coughed in pain. Even if it took less than a minute for me to die, or to put it the other way, if I had just a minute here, I could still do something. What?
何そのめちゃくちゃなへりくつ。
That's absolutely ridiculous. I wasn't surprised at Leah for being taken aback when I shouted in horror. I suppose your positivity rubbed off on me. I thought back on how I was always waiting for you to come back to me. So I thought this time I should be the one to come to you. So we took the car. I'm sorry I couldn't sit still, but she continued on. It was just so painful to wait for you to come back. Even as death, I wanted to believe there was something I could do too. I was sure she was in pain, but she spoke without hiding her joy at being reunited with me, and I still don't know how she got here. Guardian of the Lycoris, please allow me to be by your side just for now. After dealing that finishing blow. They had like 59 seconds. She gave me a life-giving kiss. Even while surrounded by roaring flames, I could tell the warmth from Leah's lips was special. As for was what she left, that is what it says. That's not even, as for what she left. Felt, that was good. As for what she felt, she wanted me to live. She wanted me to be by her side. She loved me. Even without words, she conveyed it all to me. Yves.
それは
Yes,
ずるいよ。
that's just unfair. My heart pounded for more reasons than one.
そんなこと言われたら
If you tell me that,
喜んでと言う以外にないじゃないか。
I can't say anything else other than I'd happily let you
一緒にあがいてくれ。
fight alongside me.
俺は死ぬためじゃなく君を生かすためにこの命を使いたい。
I didn't come here to die. I wanted to use my life in order for you to live. Yes. Mustering the last of my remaining strength, I hit the ground with my arm. I rose up, supported by Leah's body. I didn't have the strength to walk, so I was simply dragged through the burning flower fields. How is she here? Ahaha! I'm on fire. Every time she stepped forward, Leah's face twisted in pain, and after a short while, she coughed up blood in concerning amounts, but still she refused to let go of my body. Though she could die at any moment, even after what seemed like a lifetime. Just a little more. In an attempt to get as far away as possible from the blast radius, she desperately kept moving forward. The moment we managed to reach a spot away from the dense densest cluster of flowers. A crimson flash cracked the earth. The mysterious explosives that scientists happened to have on hand shook the ground with an unbelievable force. And with it, the entire garden of Lycoris began to crumble. The flowers of salvation that sealed off the curse for so long were where one after another swallowed into the growing darkness that rippled across the ground. I thought we had gotten far enough. If only we had taken one more step. Ah! Star Wars levels just fall. Leah. The ground we stood on suddenly crumbled away, our bodies succumbing to gravity, falling downwards with the earth. Maybe it's better. Land in the water, guys. I hoped to at least keep Leah on solid ground, but it was too late. This is my favorite part so far. Our bodies followed the Lycoris into the darkness below. I'm not losing you again. Go, Anku, you go. Hands covered in black and red thrusted outwards to take each of our arms. It wasn't death who came for us. I looked up in confusion. The Watchman of Death is death. One was a dear friend, and the other man I felt I had seen somewhere before. Adolf? Anku! Yeah, we both get a shot one. As we grasped on the edge of the abyss, the two men tried desperately to pull us up.
根性を出せよ。自称死の番人とやら。
Was that all you've got, Watchman of Death?
いくら貧弱とはいえ、そいつの腕を離しやがったら、俺がお前を殺す。
I don't care how weak you are. If you let go of Leah's arm, I'll kill you.
君のような未熟者に言われたくはない。
I don't need a child like you to tell me that. Oh, man. The two of them twisted their faces in the exact same way. And with a heroic shout brought us back from the edge of the abyss. And we still both died, right? The same time the night across Arpachel ended, but like, look how much fire there is. We would be faced with days of new struggles. Dang. And then everybody clapped. Cough, cough, cough. I woke up in to my own coughing. Ah, blood. I felt the warm sensation of it on the side of my mouth. That's right, Adolf and Anku saved us. I must have fallen unconscious after. Yves had been saved alongside me, but I didn't know what happened to him. Ignoring the immense pain in my body, I leapt out of the isolated room. For some strange reason, the door wasn't locked. I wanted some information, so I ran into the lab where I thought someone might be. Inside the lab was Sheen and Dahat. Leah!
無事に目を覚ましたようで何よりだ、姫君。
I'm glad you've awoken, dear
花
princess.
園を抜けた途端、血を吐きながら倒れた時はどうなることかと思ったよ。
I did not know what would become of you after you collapsed. You had coughed up a great deal of blood when we left the field. Adolf and Anku looked to be in the middle of discussing with Sheen and Dahat. And then... Leah, boy should not be standing.
おかえり。
Welcome back. When did she die? When did she start visualizing this in her death? He called out to my name with his usual smile on his face. Yves, a single tear fell from my eye. He's like he's a reliver now. Before it could hit the ground, I dove straight into Yves' chest. He was alive. Yves, you're alive. He was really there right in front of
心配
me.
かけてごめん。でも、君が頑張って、俺を迎えに来てくれたから。
I'm sorry for worrying you, but because you fought so hard to come and get
必ず
me.
一緒に帰ろうって。自分を奮い立たせることができたんだ。
I was able to gain strength and come back here with you.
ありがとう。
Thank you, Leah. Yes, yes. I knew I didn't deserve this, but for now, I was just so overjoyed that he was alive. I stood there without letting go, savoring the warmth of his body.
とっても仲良しなところを申し訳ないんですけど、
Sorry to interrupt a private
今
moment.
後の話し合いがあるので、その辺にしていただけると助かるかなって。
But we need to talk to you about what to do from here on out.
少しぐらい構わないじゃないか。二人揃って生還できたことはまさしく奇跡なのだからね。
Just let them be for now. It really is a miracle that both of them were able to return safely.
2日も目を覚まさないからいい加減叩き起こそうと思ってた。
She hasn't awoken for 2 days, so I was already considering shaking her awake already. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just caught up for a moment.
あ
Ha 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 ha. I didn't want to be parted from him, but we couldn't interrupt their discussion. We quickly separated from each other.
とは言っても、俺も目を覚ましたばかりで、全く状況を把握できてないんだよね。
I just woke up myself, so I have no idea what the situation
リコ
is.
リスを落下させた後、アルペシェールはどうなった？
What happened to Arpichel after the Lycoris fell?
ひとまず、毒素の蔓延は止まりました。少なくとも数時間で滅亡という状況には至らないでしょう。
We were able to stop the spread of more toxins. At the very least, we weren't all dead in a few hours. Yay!
ですが、リコリスの大半が消滅したことで、この国に残された時間が大幅に削られたことは間違いありません。
With most of the Lycoris destroyed, there's no mistake that the country's days are numbered. We knew this would be the case when we enacted the plan. Destroying the flower field was only to prevent any more immediate deaths. We had no plan to seal away the toxins that were already injected into the air. Unleashed from the Lycoris, the toxins, which were now free, still eroded away at the life remaining in us with every taken breath. I see. I couldn't help but feel down when faced with that reality.
でも、お二人が稼いでくれた時間があれば、何か対策が打てるかもしれません。
But with the time both of you brought us, it's possible we can strategize a plan.
絶望するには早いですよ。いっそこれを機に呪いを解く気概でいきましょう。
It's still too early to lose hope. Let's keep going and use this opportunity to get rid of the curse.
前向きなダハトらしい。
That's the Dahat for you.
なるほど。それがお前の狙いか。
I see, so that's your angle. Sheen's laughed, cutting off Eve's remark. Sheen,
いや何こっちの話だ。雑な策だと思っていたが、いろいろと納得がいった。
nothing, just talking to myself. It was a sloppy plan, but satisfactory enough.
時間もない。今回ばかりはその手のひらの上で踊ってやろう。
We don't have time. I'll play your little game for now. It felt like the air between Sheen and Dahat was a bit different from usual.
そろそろいいか。病人を立たせたままにするわけにはいかないだろう。
Are you guys done? We can't keep these two injured people standing here
不
forever.
本意だが同感だ。長くなりそうなら科学者二人だけでやってくれ。
I hate to agree, but he is correct. If this will take a while, the scientists should discuss it alone.
まあいいだろう。俺も後処理と王族への尋問に最低でも5日は必要だからな。
Fine by me. I'll need at least 5 days to clean things up and interrogate the royal family.
流れるように怖いこと言うじゃないですか。
You say some scary stuff pretty
こ
casually.
の状況で全面戦争とか絶対嫌なので、王族の人たちは殺さないでくださいよ、ジアンさん。
I'm absolutely opposed to waging an all-out war, so please don't kill the royal family, Sheen.
殺さなければ他はいいのか。
So we can do anything but kill them? With an exasperated sigh from Adolph, the meeting was adjourned. I was worried about Yves, but I couldn't stay in the same room with him while I was still secreting toxins. Cough, cough. I also didn't have much confidence in my own condition, so I wasn't exactly able to take care of others.
姫君
Princess. I coughed up a small amount of blood and Anku came over to help me steady.
発作用の薬は投与したが呪いに効くかは微妙らしい。
You were given medicine to suppress the coughs, but no one was sure if it would work on the curse.
症状が落ち着くまではこの部屋でおとなしく療養してろ。
Be sure to rest and get better until your symptoms die down. Thank you, but Sheen and the others already told you about what I am, right? Anku might be safe because he can't die, but you're not going to be safe around me.
それを
Well,
こんな男まで心配するなんて我が姫君は本当に優しいね。
dear princess, you're too kind to worry over such a man.
その優しいささやきをいつまでも聞いていたいところだが
While you may wish to continue listening to those sweet whispers of his,
今は横になった方がいい。寝転がりながらでも心配はできるだろう。
you should lie down for now and worry about everyone from the comfort of your bed. All right. With a gentle push from Anku, I lay down on the bed. The moment I did, my fatigue caught up to me and I felt my eyelids grow heavy. About to drift off to sleep, I looked at both of them, who seemed so similar to each other. Why were you two at the Lycoris field?
町に異変が起きた途端牢を監視していたこの衛兵も死んだからな。
The guards who were keeping watch over my cell died from the bizarre turn of events.
一か八か脱出してお前らが向かいそうな場所を片っ端から回ってたんだ。
I took a chance, I made a break for it, and I ran around everywhere looking for you two.
その最中にこのうさんくさい男に出会った。
And along the way, I ran into this shady guy. The conversation was now directed at Anku, who looked away from Adolph's gaze, annoyed.
私も似たようなものだよ。君たちが不当に拘束されたと聞いたものだからね。
I came across you in a similar way. I heard you were both being unjustly restrained against your will.
急ぎ研究所へと向かったのだが、どうやらルートが異なるせいで、君たちと入れ違いになったようだ。
My baby. I rushed to the institute, but perhaps due to our different routes, just missed you. And is that where you heard about our plans from Sheen?
ああ
Yes. Though Anku's expression looked pained, he gently rubbed my head. It felt nice, just like how Adolph rubbed my
す
head.
まない。私たちがもっと早く合流していれば、君たちをここまで苦しめることはなかった。
I forgive you. Forgive me. Had we been able to find you sooner, neither of you would have endured such pain. And it's okay. We're safe now because you two came for us. Thanks to you, Adolph. Thanks to you too, Adolph. I'm sure if it was painful to be in the Lycoris field with the toxins spreading everywhere with your body that is so susceptible to it. Go on. Say it. Before Adolph could answer my question, my fatigue grew even stronger and began to force my eyelids shut. I'm sorry, I think I can't stay awake any longer. I'm gonna sleep for now. Let's talk again when I wake up.
ああ
Sure.
おやすみ、姫君。苦しい思いをした分、今宵は良い夢を見るのだよ。
Good night, my princess. Have pleasant dreams to make up for all the pain you have endured. Thank you. It was strange, even though my chromosomes had been tainted, it wasn't that much of a burden on my body. Thankfully for this coincidence, I gave up on thinking about anything at all and fell asleep. Right, I had completely forgotten why I was brought to the institute in the first place, and so... What are you plotting?
何のことかな？
What do you mean?
しらばっくれるんじゃねえ。俺があの花畑で平然としていたことを知ってるくせに黙ってただろ。
Don't play dumb. You knew I was completely fine in the Lycoris field and you're keeping quiet about it.
俺をかばったつもりか。
Are you trying to cover for me?
おぞましいことを言わないでくれたまえ。君ごときをかばうなんて、たとえ冥界が浄化されてもありえない。
That's quite a disturbing thought. I would not help you even if Hades were to freeze over.
告げ口したくてもできない理由がこちらにはあるのだよ。
There are reasons why I could not tell anyone even if I wanted to.
どこまでもうさんくさいやつ。
Everything about you is
あの
suspicious.
晩二人に飲ませたお前の血は本当に無害なんだろうな。
That's right. That blood of yours you made those two drink, it really is harmless, right?
もちろん呪いへの完全な打倒にはまだなり得ないが、
Of course, although it still can't completely prevent the
染
curse.
色体の汚染を食い止めるならどんな薬よりも効果がある。
It's still more effective than any medicine to stop the corruption of one's chromosomes.
その言葉信じるからな。
I'm trusting you on that.
万が一にもお前の血が原因で二人の身に何かあったら
If your blood somehow puts them in danger, I promise I'll kill you. They would be dead if it wasn't for his blood right now.
やれやれ。
Dead.
口を開けばそればかり。
Good grief, is that all you can ever think to say?
バカの一つ覚えという言葉は今の君のためにあるようなものだ。
I'm sure the phrase a fool only knows one trick was meant especially for you. Look at his smile. Oh, I love him so much. Hey.
そう。抗体自体は確実に完成へと近づいている。
That's right. The development of the antibodies is nearing
あとは
completion.
どうにかこの未熟者とシアンブロフィワーズを特効薬の作成へと導くことができれば。
All that's left is to guide this young one and Shin Borofi into making a medicine from it.
俺は
And then,
今度こそ
finally,
二人を希望のある未来へ連れて行くことができる。
I'll be able to take those two to a hopeful future. Dang.
参ったな。
This is
これ
rough.
じゃもうまともな人間とすら言えない。
Can't really call myself human in this state anymore. Ooh. The days after went by at a dizzying pace with all that needed to be done. The retrieval of corpses, medical attention for any survivors, calming down the confused residents, and dealing with the royal family. We had to accomplish it all with a few people. Capuchin was also let out of his cell again, forced to help Sheen despite his his enmity against it. Enmity. Yeah. I couldn't help anyone directly because of my allopathy, still unable to sit around and do nothing. I helped to sterilize bandages and prepare other equipment in the isolated room. Perhaps because Yves was so busy helping Sheen. The only time I got to see him was when we happened to pass by each other in the corridor. Time flew by during our busy endeavors.
なんだかあれから王族の皆さんが恐ろしいくらい静かなんですけど。
Ever since then, the royal family's been almost frighteningly silent.
シアンさん、まさか本当の本当に王族の皆さんを殺してませんよね。
Sheen, you didn't actually go and kill the royal family, did you?
してない。二度と余計なことをしないよう全員の舌を切り落としただけだ。
I haven't. I simply cut off all of their tongues to make sure they couldn't say anything stupid ever again.
嘘でしょ、この人物理的に静かにさせた？
Wait, you actually physically made them shut up?
この男ならその程度の所業平然とやるだろう。
This man could easily do something that heinous with a straight face.
シアンブロフィワーズも君にだけは言われたくないと思うが、私からすればどちらも許しがたい罪人だ。
I'm certain Sheen Brophy agrees when I say you are not one to talk. To me, both of you are unforgivable sinners. I had been reunited with Yves, and we could only smile awkwardly at the frightening conversation.
無駄話しかしないなら俺たちは部屋に戻るぞ。二人はまだ病み上がりとすら言えねえ状態なんだ。
If all we're here to do is chat, I'm going to go back to my room. These two have barely even begun to recover.
あ、すみません、つい。でも、 話し合いといっても、僕たちもシアンさんに呼び出されただけなので。
Sorry about that, but you know, it's Sheen who gathered us all here, even me. The Hot suggested that Sheen move on to the reason why everyone was there. Sheen glanced at Yves, then controlled the stone slate to display some results of his analysis of the
今回
curse.
の一件で放出された毒素の総量、そしてリコリスを失ったことで、今後放出される毒素量をもとに、
Considering the total amount of toxins already expelled, as well as the toxins that can no longer be absorbed by the
標準的なこ
Lycoris,
の国の人間の染色体が汚染される速度を割り出した。
I've calculated the speed of
結論を言う。
contamination for an average person's chromosomes. Here are the results.
あと2ヶ月で、アルペシェールの人間は全員死に至る。
Everyone in Arpachel will die within 2 months. As everyone waited with bated breath, Sheen announced the countdown to everyone's demise in an astonishing casual manner.
2ヶ月。
2 months? That's all?
それでは何のためにリコリスの花畑を鎮火させたのかわからないじゃないか。
Then why did we put the fires out in the Lycoris field? Because everyone would have died in minutes. Sheen casually dismissed Capuchin by saying it was better than dying in a few days. That said, we were still unable to accept it right away. In just 2 months, Arpachel will become a true land of death. How will we all deal? Anku, Adolf, all dead. All dead. Mother and the children at the orphanage. Lucas, Nadia. Lucas is already dead. Everyone in the corpse. Oh, he's still not dead? Wait. You mean Lucas? He's dead. She just doesn't know it yet. Right? Oh, wait, did he not die? Is he not dead? I swore he died. Mathis and Jean. Everybody. Everyone important to me, they're all going to die? I staggered to hold back tears as an urge to vomit over imagining such a scenario.
どうすればいい？呪いを完全に無効化する方法はないのか？
Capuchin, yeah, Capuchin's not dead. Sadly. We're not that lucky. What do we do? Isn't there a way to neutralize the curse
ない
completely?
と言えば嘘になる。要は毒素に対抗できる特効薬を完成させればいい。
I'd be lying if I said there was none. We'd simply need to create a special antidote that can fight against the toxins.
それなら
Well then,
開発する時間さえあれば。
that
No.
is if we had the time. Everyone instantly understood that something was off when Sheen didn't specifically mention that this idea was possible. The god who designed the Reliver system. He was the genius who developed this miraculous technology in a matter of months. In that case, in a way, through the curse was even more difficult than developing such a technology. How many months would it take?
毒素への抗体があったとして3ヶ月。
Even with antibodies, 3 months. What he offered was a time frame past the lifespan of this country.
バカな。抗体があっても間に合わないというのか。
Ridiculous. Not even the antibodies would work?
なら、俺は今まで何のために。
What have I struggled for all this time? Dude, Anku, I feel that. Anku's shouted out of frustration echoed within the Institute. Everyone present understood it was impossible and began to slip into despair.
でも
But
逆に言えば、時間さえあればなんとかなるんですよね。
but the other way, if we did have time, then it could work. Got it. I know what he's planning. All right, he's watched Dragon Ball. He's like, we need to find the shrine. It's been a minute. Hang on. Where you go into the room and like a single day is 1 year. He's like, done. We just gotta find that place, guys. The hut. His voice was lower than normal. For some reason, he was looking not at Sheen, but at me and Yves. Sheen understood the meaning behind his gaze.
確かにな。
True enough. Sheen muttered. Yves, who was mostly silent this whole time, moved in front of me. Yves. Yves didn't answer me back. Are we gonna bury her corpse all over the place again? To be more accurate, he wasn't able to. That was the look he had on his face. Sheen looked upon him with cold, unfeeling eyes. I knew that look. It was the same look Sheen had when he brought me to the Institute and discovered what I was. Oh. I couldn't believe I had forgotten. Sheen was certainly not on the same side as the two of us.
漂流者の先祖返りであるクルーン、リコリスの化身である死神の娘。
Korun with the genetic atavism of the Drifter, and Leah with the incarnation of the
どちら
Lycoris.
かを煮えとし、限られた寿命を伸ばすことができれば、
If I can lengthen the time we have by sacrificing one of
この国
you,
を滅亡から救うことができるだろ
I'll be able to save this country's people from extermination. We were brought here as subjects for his experiment. The genius loved by God was demanding a sacrifice to save the people.
う。極論、最大の山である2ヶ月を超えれば、どうとでもなる。
Once we get past the point in question of 2 months, I can certainly make it happen.
必要な抗体はそこの死の番人とやらに心当たりがあるようだからな。
And it appears the Watchman of Death has an idea of where we can find these antibodies we need. In order to make that happen,
23年以上生きることのできる人間の遺伝子を利用し、汚染された染色体を一部治療するか、
we use the genetics of someone who can live longer than 23 years to strengthen the bodies.
アレロパシー能力によって毒素を弱めることのできる生命のクローンを作り、生き埋めにするか。
Could do both. Why not both? Or we use one of the with allopathy who can weaken the toxins, creating clones of her and burying them alive.
その2択だ。どちらを選んでも、オリジナルが死ぬのは変わらない。
How would she die? Those are the two options. In either case, the source being used will die. The moment he quietly finished explaining,
そんなの
I'm not letting
認
that
められる
happen.
わけねえだろ。誰も彼もがお前のための煮えになると思うなよ。
Don't think that everyone is ready to sacrifice himself for your sake.
そんなに実験がしたきゃ自分の体を使え。俺の身内をこれ以上巻き込むな。
If you want to perform experiments like that, do them on your own body. Stop involving my friends and
そ
family.
れでも誰かを犠牲にしなきゃならないのなら
And if you
俺が
really need someone to be your sacrifice, then I'll
アドルフさん落ち着いて。
calm down.
不本意だが、私も未熟者と同意見だ。
I hate to admit it, but I agree with the young one.
神を名乗るのなら、誰も犠牲にせずに民を救ったらどうだね。シアン・ブロフィワーズ。
If you truly are a god, as you say, why not save everyone without sacrificing anyone, Shin Brophy? Because you can't. It's just not possible all the time. Even as the dolphin Anku glared at him, Shin refused to take back his suggestion, looking on with unfeeling eyes, and instead of backing
う
down,
ぬぼれるなよ。俺はお前たちではなくそこの2人に提示している。
don't be so arrogant. It's not up to either of you, but the two of
バ
them.
カが答えは同じに決まって。
You idiot, their answers is the same as.
ほう。ならなぜ当事者であるそいつらはそんな顔をしている？
Then why are the faces of the two in question looking the way they are now?
何？
What? As Shin questioned, Adolf and Anku both turned back at the same time. They looked at the expressions of those who could give hope of. They looked at the expressions of those who could give hope of this plan becoming a reality. Sometimes I feel like it doesn't need spaces in a certain spot and it just makes it harder. But I'm also not normal. I was sure that both Yves and I looked the exact same way, thinking the exact same thing. If they used this sinful life of mine, could they really save the country? It was strange. What Sheen proposed was certainly the beginning of the end for us, so how did I bring about so much hope? Give me what I deserve. What does that mean? Story of a hero. I gotta get the other ending. A loud crashing sound interrupted me.
なんだ今の音は。
What was that sound? Capuchin, get out!
研究所の外から響いてきたようだが。
Sounds like it came from outside the institute. What followed shortly afterwards was an ear-splitting siren, different from the ones that sounded during the fire.
映せ。
On screen. On Chin's command, images of what was happening outside was displaying before us, and what was shown there were surviving residents shoving themselves at the entrance of the institute.
中に入れろ。今すぐ俺のバックアップを取るんだ。
We need backups.
じゃないと死んだ連中みたいに死神に魂を刈り取られる。
Otherwise, I'll have my soul taken by death just like the others. The people were all terrified of the curse of death, who took the lives of most people in the country in a single night. They were all in a panic, trying to get backups of their lives
や
made.
めろ。全員落ち着け。リライバーの生産並びにバックアップは緊急事態のため中止している。
Quiet, all you calm down. All reliver productions and backups have been halted given the emergency
再開次第
situation.
知らせが出るからそれまで待機しろ。
You'll be notified when they resume. Wait until then. The guards securing the front gate did all they could to placate the crowd. However, despite attempts at persuasion, why? However, their desperate attempts at persuasion were unable to convince everyone. Get out of my way! A man who jumped out in front of the crowd thrusted a knife into the stomach of a guard.
貴様神聖なる研究所にナイフを持ち込むなど。
How dare you bring a knife to the sacred grounds of the
てめえ
institute?
らが邪魔するから悪いんだろうが。
It's your fault for getting in the way. Then, with the enraged scream of the man, it began. The crowd of several dozen citizens rushed at the remaining guard.
殺せ殺せ殺せ殺せ。
Kill them, kill them, kill them, kill them.
俺たちが生き延びるために邪魔する奴は全員殺せ。
This is for our survival. Kill everyone that gets in our way.
私の方が先よ。
Get out of my way, scum. I'm first.
踏まないで。私がここに倒れて。
Don't step on me. I can't get up. Me first. Me first? As they screamed about survival. What? Me first, me first, me first. Okay, okay. The people all infiltrated the institute together.
まさか生き残った人間の大半がここに殺到してるのか。
Can't be. Are they all survivors trying to break in?
失敗した。
Oh, Dahat. Oh, Dahat, you don't look happy. I messed up.
失敗した失敗した。まさかこの国の人間がここ
We
ま
messed
で
up.
愚かだとは。
I didn't think the people of this country were this foolish.
こんなの内乱ですじゃない。
This is no revolt. It's a massacre.
ただの醜い共食いだ。
Dahat, you got any more explosives? This is just gruesome cannibalism. Cannibalism.
言えて妙だね。
That's a fitting way to put it. It sounded terrifying, but I felt that it was a very appropriate word for the situation. Sheen immediately activated all of the Institute's security
所長権
systems,
限により全隔壁の同時展開を開始します。
now commencing deployment of all barriers by authorization of the
各
director.
区画に配置された警備兵は送信されたデータに従い侵入者を迎撃してください。
Security stationed at each quarter are to follow instructions provided to them and intercept any intruders. Along with the lifeless voice, I could hear the sound of the walls being lowered in a way that Dahat had explained to me.
なんだ、しっかり防犯システムが起動しているじゃないか。
I see the security system is working
ど
just
れだけ
fine.
民衆が群がったところで、所詮は一般人。化け物でもない限り、この研究所の隔壁を破れるはずが。
No matter their numbers, they're still ordinary people. Nothing but a monster can get through the walls of the Institute.
今度はなんだ？
What now? With a grunt, Sheen expanded the image of the wall that was lowered in one of the hallways. At the center of the image was Lucas. Lucas is a Bakemono. There we go. Lucas.
ブロー、なんで彼がここに？
Bro, what is he doing
しかも
here?
一人じゃないってことは、まさかリライバ
And there isn't just one of him. Are those all relivers?
教団の実験室にいた人形はすでに全て処分している。ならばあれは
The clones in Society's lab have all been destroyed since that's the case. Everyone's eyes turned towards Capuchin's, whose face had gone pale.
知らない。オリジナルである彼も我が病院に運び込まれているし。
Don't look at me. The original's been transported to my hospital, so...
だが現にこうして研究所を襲撃してるだろう。
Well, they're attacking the Institute right
協
now.
力するふりをして俺たちを始末する機会を伺ってたんじゃねえだろうな。
You better not be pretending to help while plotting to get rid of us in the middle of it all.
結果、私まで殺されたら意味がないだろう。本部のバックアップも捕まった時に削除されているんだぞ。
What would be the point if I got killed too? My backup at the headquarters was deleted when I got captured, you know?
あれは私の預かり知らぬ個体だ。
Those are specimens I don't know about.
そういえば、リコリスの花畑で彼に襲撃された際、私と一緒に驚いていたね。
Now that I recall, you were just as surprised as I was when I was attacked by him in the Lycoris
てっ
fields.
きりシアン・ブロフィワーズがカプシーヌから雇い直したものだと思い込んでいたが。
I thought he was simply taken from you under the order of Sheen Borofi. Sheen sighed with annoyance, suggesting that he had no idea what Anku was talking about.
ー。ため息ついてる場合ですか？隔壁が破壊されたってことは。
Now's not the time to be sighing like that. If the barriers are being breached, as if pulled along by dozens of carts led by Burrow, the desperate survivors killed the guards one after another.
まずい、まずい、まずいぞ。どうするんだ、シアン・ブロフィワーズ。
What are you gonna do, Sheen Borofi?
わめくな三下。今対処している。
Pipe down, Underling. I'm going to take care of this right now.
俺たちは少しでも扉の補強を。
We need to barricade the door as best we can. Right. As Tahat instructed us on what equipment could be used, we hurried to push things up against the entrance.
こんなバリケード、ブローの前では数秒も持たないぞ。
A barricade like this isn't going to last even a few seconds
いっ
against
そ研
Burrow.
究所を捨てて逃げた方がいい。
We should just forget the Institute and get out of here.
逃げると言っても逃げ道などどこにも。
You say that, but it's not as if we have a way out to...
今作る。
I'm making one now. Huh? Shane took out an orb from his pocket and tossed it into a space that no one was occupying. In that next moment, a hole leading underground appeared miraculously out of nowhere. From the unending darkness, I could hear water flowing.
そうか。例の地下水路はここにもあったんだ。
I see the waterways are running even under here.
東の花畑とは距離があるから、落ちたリコリスから流れる毒素もまだ届いていないはず。
We're pretty far away from the eastern field, which is why I probably should have taken a car there. So the toxins and the Lycoris that were dropped haven't gotten this far yet.
縄を下ろす時間はねえな。
There isn't any time to lower a rope down.
運が悪ければ転落死だが、飛び降りるしかないね。
The unlucky among us will fall to our deaths, but there's no other choice but to jump.
イブ、姫君を任せてもいいかい？
Eve, can I leave the princess to you?
もちろん、守護者としてしっかり守らせてもらうよ。
Of course, I'll be sure to protect her as her guardian.
頼もしいことだ。
You certainly are reliable. Without hesitation, Eve's picked me up sideways.
極力衝撃は抑えるけど、念のためにしっかり捕まってて。
I'll do my best to absorb the impact, but hang on tight just in case, Leah. Got it. Eve's got a better hold of my body to protect me than readied himself to jump into the massive hole. But before he could, the door to the lab was easily broken through, and Barreau quickly closed in on us with his halberd in hand. The target of his blade was Eve's back as he carried me. Eve's?
させるか。
No, you don't. What the heck? Why? The blade that came down without hesitation was blocked by Adolphe's drawn sword. However, Barreau didn't stop his attack there. Adolphe!
構うな。行け。
Don't worry about me, go.
追いかけてこなかったら本気で怒るからね。
I'll be really angry if you're not right behind us. Got it? Still hesitant after Adolphe shouted at us to leave, Yves held on to me tightly as he jumped down into the hole. My body was battling against the resistance of the air as we tore through it from above. And after a long drop, we dove into the colored water. Leah, are you alright? I pressed the button too fast. Sorry. I think so. As Eve looked around, coughing from swallowing the medicinal water, she and some of the others splashed into the water beside us. What about Adolphe and Anku?
落ちてこない。もしかしてアドルフを助けるために彼もあの場に残ったんじゃ。
Jumped down yet. Maybe Anku stayed back to help Adolphe. No.
待ってる暇はありません。敵が追いかけてこないうちに避難しましょう。
Can't wait for them. Let's escape while our enemies are
こん
busy.
な形で披露するのは不本意ですが、一応安全な場所に心当たりがあるので。
I didn't want to reveal it this way, but I know a place where we can hide out. But
大丈夫。あの二人なら絶対に後から追いつくはずだ。
don't worry, I'm sure those two will follow close behind
それを
us.
信じて待つ場所を確保しよう。
Did Capuchin jump down? Let's believe in them and find a safe place to hide, alright? Okay, swallowing down the urge to go back up there, I nodded quickly. You couldn't go back if you tried. You just said that someone could have died from the fall. For about an hour, we continued through the canal led by Dahat. Dang. We then heard a change in the sound of the air. We arrived at the laboratory that exuded a strangely uneasy aura. What is this place?
ちょっと個人的に用意した研究室と言いますか。
I guess you could say it's a lab. I set it up for my own purpose.
ほう、隠れて用意したにしては悪くないスペックだな。
Oh, not a bad workspace considering you put together in
この
secret.
プログラムどこかで見た覚えがあるのだが
I've seen this program
まさか。
before somewhere. Wait.
二人とも勝手に人のシステム触らないでくださいよ。
Hey, you two shouldn't be snooping around other people's lab systems. The Hop pulled at the collar of the two men who were investigating the devices without his permission after watching their antics for a moment. Yves, are you alright? My guy, I'm so sorry. Yves stumbled hard. I quickly moved to hold his body up before he could hit the ground. I assumed that his condition was getting worse.
ごめんごめん。心配させちゃったね。
Sorry, I don't mean to worry you.
毒素のせいで苦しいのは君だって一緒なのに。
You're suffering just as much from the toxins. Apologize, step away. I don't know, man. I'm sorry, I made you carry me without even thinking of the burden it put on you. After apologizing, I stepped away from Yves. Yves, however, closed the same distance that I made by moving away from him.
もうなんで逃げるかな。
Come on, why are you running from me?
花畑まで迎えに来てくれた時はそばにいさせてって自分から言ってくれたのに。
When you came to get me at the Lycoris field, you're the one who asked if you could stay by my side. I just didn't know what else I could do. As I gave my excuse, I heard footsteps coming from the empty entryway. Yves drew his sword immediately, alert and facing the entranceway, but if Barreau had been behind us, he would have caught up to us in no time.
重い。少しは自力で歩けないのか、君は。
You're so heavy. Are you unable to shift your weight at all?
うるさい。自分から肩を貸すと言い出した以上、文句を言うな。
Shut up. You have no right to complain when you're the one who offered me your shoulder. Adolphe, Anku! Perhaps in relief when the two of them saw us gasping for breath. Both collapsed to the ground where they stood. I'm so glad you guys were able to catch up to us.
ありがとう、アンク。アドルフを助けるために残ってくれたんだよね。
Thanks, Anku. You stayed back to help Adolphe, didn't you?
まあ、そうだね。本来なら喜んで見捨てているのだが。
I suppose, while I relished the thought of abandoning
こ
him,
の男が死ねば姫君が悲しむ。それに、
had I done so, my princess would be sad in
4
addition.
人でという約束を破るわけにはいかなくてね。
I could not break my promise to reunite the four of us.
こちらの話さ。それよりも、急ぎこの男の止血を。
Just talking to myself. More importantly, we need to stop his bleeding. Was it supposed to be Hugo, the dead guy? Anku's gaze dropped downward. I was speechless. Adolphe, your foot. Adolphe. His right leg appeared to end at his ankle. His foot must have been cut clean off with a massive amount of blood pouring out from the severed area. Even in this moment, Adolphe's blood was being taken away from him.
面倒をかけて悪い。
Sorry for the trouble. You don't have to apologize. Please, hold still. I grabbed some nearby towels I assumed were for other experiments and immediately tied them over Adolphe's wound. I continued by wrapping even more bandage around it, and a few minutes later, the blood stopped seeping through it, and the cold sweat disappeared from Adolphe's face.
アドルフ、その足じゃも
Adolphe with that leg.
戦うことはできねえな。
Yeah, I'm not able to fight anymore. Despite that, there was no sadness in his voice as he spoke. In fact, he even looked proud of himself for having survived the chaotic
自
fight.
警団のリーダーも引退だ。今後のことはお前に任せる。
I also resign as the corpse leader and leave things up to you for now.
う。いや、それは
Yeah, but I'm gonna die soon.
生き延びたか。クルーンほどではないが、それなりの生命力だな。
So you're alive. You may not be as stubborn as Korun, but I suppose you have a reasonably substantial amount of stamina. She now finished checking over the equipment returned to us.
ここにずっとこもるわけにもいきませんし、なんとか研究所を奪還する方法を考えましょう。
We could just hide away here forever. We couldn't. We can't just hide away here forever. Let's think of a way to get the Institute back.
その意見には賛成だが、 戦力差の問題はどうする？
I agree with you. However, what do we do with the difference in our strength?
こちらはただでさえ少人数だというのに、たった今さらに戦力が減ってしまった。
We already had few enough. We already had few enough people as it was, and essentially lost one more person just now.
悪かったな。
Sorry about that.
仮にブローを倒せたとして、
Even if we're able to defeat
研究所
Barrow,
に殺到した民衆たちに取り囲まれてはひとたまりもない。
we'll be swarmed by the crowd of residents that charged into the institute.
映像で見ただけで200人は集まってたからね。
There must have been at least 200 of them, and that's just what we could see. Even if they were amateurs at fighting, that still wouldn't cover the difference in our numbers. Just then I had a thought. Maybe we don't have to think in terms of fighting strength.
どういう意味だ？
What do you mean? I continued after Adolph raised his question. Everyone is just confused by the fact that the curse is spreading. If we could convince or explain to them that there's nothing to be worried about, perhaps they'll come back to their senses and leave.
それもそうだね。彼らは別に研究所を乗っ取るために来たわけじゃないんだから。
That's true. It's not like they came to take over the institute.
むしろ技術者やシアンさんがいなくなったことで、今頃誰も装置を操作できずに困ってるんじゃ。
Without Sheen or any of the technicians, I'm sure they wouldn't be able to operate any of the devices. Suddenly, we heard the sound of something crashing. The sound came from the video that Sheen and Dahat were displaying. It was obtained from the hacking into the institute, showing what was happening inside. Huh? And then they showed. And what they showed were images. No, a tragedy of something horrible.
死ね死ね死ね、バックアップを取るのは俺だ。
I'm the one who's gonna make a backup of myself. No! I won't make it. If I have to die here, then
ここにいる全員。
then I'm taking everyone with me. To win the privilege of creating their backup, those who survived that night began killing each other without hesitation, and among them,
いける。殺す。止める。
live, kill, eat? What? There was even someone biting others' necks and ripping their throats as they let out a maniacal laugh. What? It was horrible. Yeah, it sounds terrible. What? A place built by the god to save so many people was being destroyed by none other than those of whom it was built to save.
狂ってるな。
This is
本
crazy.
物の死神よりもよほどおぞましい。
This is more disturbing, disgusting than the true form of death.
一部明らかに正気を失っている者がいるようだが。
Is it me or did some of the people look like they have gone completely insane?
リライバーシステムを殴るか壊すかで強引に起動させ。
It may be from smashing, breaking, or forcing the reliver system to start
他
somehow.
人、それも複数の記憶をダウンロードした結果、人格が狂ったアホどもだろう。
But I'm sure there were some idiots who made themselves insane by downloading multiple other people's memories into themselves.
そこまで追い詰められているなんて。
To think they were all this desperate.
まずい。このままだとリライバー技術が丸ごと壊される
At
ぞ。
this rate, reliver technology itself will be destroyed.
そうなったら呪いを解くどころじゃなくなる。
If that were to happen, we won't be able to undo the curse.
だからといってこの状況を打破できる戦力を僕たちは持っていない。
We don't have the strength to get out of this situation.
彼女の言う通り、実際に見せるしかないですね。
In that case, we need to show them something just like Leah
呪い
suggested.
に対抗できるという明確な実験結果にして。
More clear results of our experimentation that can fight the
彼
curse.
らに理性を取り戻させるほどの 圧倒的な神の偉業を。
An indisputable miracle powerful enough to call them back to their senses. The Hot's tone of voice sounded uncharacteristically dignified.
23年以上生きることのできる人間の遺伝子を利用し、汚染された染色体を一部治療するか、
Yeah.
アレロパシ
Yeah.
その2だ。
I remember. Sacrifice like that. I remember our only hope.
でもあの時と今は状況が違う。
Things are different now compared to
呪
earlier.
いへの恐怖は伝播し、国中にまで広がっている。
The fear of the curse is spreading even into the center of the country.
なら現在進行形で苦しむ人たちを寿命の到来から救いつつ、
Which means we need to do both of these things, saving those suffering peoples whose lives are coming to an
毒
end,
素へ対抗するための時間を勝ち取らなければならない。
while also buying time to fight against the
そうですよ
toxin.
ね、シアンさん。
Isn't that right, Sheen? I said why not both? Sheen didn't agree with what Yves said, but he didn't disagree with him either. I understood everything after watching them. Yves and I nodded to each other. It's not either of us, but both Yves and I must be used in order to save this country, right? I put into words the future that was set for us. The ones in despair weren't the two of us in question, but the ones who vehemently refused our sacrifice were Adolphe and Anku.
やめろ。そんなこと間違っても口にするな。
Don't joke about something like
そう
that.
だ、こんな
He's right. What?
お前らに全ての痛みと罪を押し付けた醜い国を救って何になる。
What good will it be to save the horrible country that forced all its pain and sin onto
い
you?
っそ見捨てた方が世界と未来のためだ。
It may even be better for the world if you just left it to its fate.
でもこの国には
But in this country,
君たちを含め俺と彼女にとって大切な人たちと
there are so many people dear to us, including all of you,
大切な人たちが生きた証がある。
and proof that people dear to us once lived here as well.
そう簡単に捨てられるものじゃない。
I can't just ignore it all and leave it be. Neither can I. I want Mother and the children to live on.
だったら俺を使え。
Then use me,
アドルフ、
Adolphe. Adolphe shook as he shouted at Sheen.
俺はこの国の人間じゃない。
I'm not from this country.
外界から流れ着いた23年以上の時を生きることのできる普通の人間。
I'm a normal human who drifted here from the outside world, someone who can live past
第
23.
二の漂流者だ。調べればすぐにわかる。
I'm the second drifter. You'll find out when you look at me.
うまく使えばこいつもイブも犠牲にしなくて済む。だから
Use me right, and you won't need to sacrifice Leah or Yves.
却下だ。お前は使えん。第二の漂流者。
Denied. I can't use you, second drifter.
は
What? Sheen cut him off and sighed.
騒動が起きる前なら、俺もその要求を飲んでいただろ
I might have taken you up on the offer before the commotion
う。
started.
だが今は、結果の視認性、民衆への説得力を何よりも問われている。
But right now we need visible results, a way to convince residents to calm
俺た
down.
ちと同じ人間にしか見えないお前が、呪いに抗える特殊な個体だと。
It's that simple, actually. You look like any normal person. How do you expect to explain to them that you have a special body that can resist the
毒
curse?
素のことを知らない理性を失った単細胞どもにどう説明するつもりだ。
How are you going to explain the toxin to these simple-minded people who have turned themselves insane?
それを
Well,
もともとキーの目で見られていた彼女は言わずもがな。
she's always been looked at as an oddity.
イブさんがリコリスの花畑から生還した時の映像ははっきり残っています。窓から目撃した人もいるでしょう。
There's also footage of Yves returning from the Lycoris field. I'm sure there are people who witnessed it from their windows.
自己犠牲の英雄、慈愛の聖女、
The self-sacrificing hero and the loving maiden.
救済の象徴として、これ以上の適任はいません。
I can't think of anyone better to serve as everyone's symbol of salvation. You could use it and still use a doll. You could still lie.
ダハと勝手に話を進めるな。
Daha, don't talk as if things are decided.
俺はこいつらから直接回答を聞くまで動かんぞ。
I'm not moving until I hear the answer directly from these two. Sheen gave a stern warning and to Dahat about his nicknames for us, feeling his behavior was unlike him. Yves and I stared at each other in silence.
お手をどうぞ。最後のエスコートは俺に任せて。
She'll give me your hand, allow me to escort you on our last journey. Yes. We walked towards each other and took each other's hands. I could feel it in his pulse. The temperature that came from his hand was terrifyingly cold. I was sure that even without his experiment, he would have died in agony soon enough. At the same time, Sheen's gazed at us in an appraising way.
それがお前たちの選んだ子。
Is that your decision? Yes, we're prepared for
本
anything.
当は彼女だけでも生かしたかったんですけど、
To be honest, Leah, I did want to keep you alive.
現実はそれを許してくれないみたいです。何より
Seems that reality isn't going to let that happen, and also,
そばに置いてと、あんな焦がれるように言われちゃったら、
hearing you say so desperately that you wanted to stay by
リ
my
コリス
side,
の守護者として、彼女を愛する男として、応じないわけにはいきませんよ。
the guardian of the Lycoris, and as the man who loves you, I can't help but respond in kind.
明快で二人、思う存分、誰にも迷惑をかけずに、愛し合おうと思います。
I wish to be with you in the netherworld where we can love each other as much as we want without bothering anyone else.
くだらんな。
Ridiculous, although,
その潔さは認めよう。血の一滴から骨の一本まで有効活用してやるから安心しろ。
I applaud your heroic offer. Don't worry, I'll be sure to use every last drop of blood and shard of bone to its fullest.
ありがとうございます。
Thanks for that.
寿命が解決した暁には、人を犠牲にする研究を俺たちで最後にしてくださいね。
Make sure that once you solve the problem with everyone's lifespans, we're the last lives you sacrificed in your experiments. Sheen offered an uncharacteristically vague response, saying he would think about it. After that, I turned to my brother and the Watchman of Death, both of whom refused to give up on our lives. Thank you for sparing me, for sparing death. Without either of you, I'm sure I would have died in despair before ever reuniting with Yves. Leah, please take care of Mother and the children. You both seem somewhat like brothers, and I'm sure you'll get along. So please don't fight too much and be nice to each other, okay?
本当に
Are you
それでいいのか。
really sure this is okay?
お前はまだ普通の人間の10分の1程度の幸福すら手に入れていないだろう。
You have not had even a tenth of the happiness a normal person would experience. Being able to spend my last moments with Yves is enough. Anku's face crumbled with pain at my reply.
何が英雄だ。何が聖女だ。
A hero and a maiden walk into a bar.
なぜこの世界は、この国は、
Why does this world, this country,
お前たちのような良き人間ばかりを犠牲として求める。
always seek to take away good people like you two?
なぜまた目の前で
Why again, right in front of me?
俺は友とお前を
Why do I have to keep
失わ
losing
なけ
you
ればならない。
and my friend again? He was crying. Anku, who always seemed aloof about everything, he was afraid of losing us. I wasn't sure if it was from sadness or anger. Anku, if you're sad because you think I haven't found happiness, that's not true. In these 18 years of my life, I found someone to fall in love with. I've had family and made friends. And kind brothers who have always watched over me. Considering the sin I've committed, I think I've been blessed enough, which is why I could be sure of this. I already found happiness long ago, Anku. No, both of you brought happiness to me. Thank you, benevolent watchman of death. Right now, I'm so glad I can now be proud of having been born. I might be cursed for saying this by those I have killed, but I couldn't bring myself to lie to those people crying in front of me for some reason. Back then, when I couldn't say goodbye, someone whispered those words in my mind. In response, Anku's bright crimson's eyes widened.
それは
This is
こちらのセリフだよ
what I wished
姫
to
君
say to you, my princess. A smile blossomed across his face to bid me farewell.
私に花のように幸せそうに笑う君の笑顔を見せてくれて
Thank you for allowing me to see you smile as happy as a flower.
冥界で彼と幸せになってくれ
Please be happy in the afterlife. Yes, I promise I will. After saying goodbye to Tahat and reluctantly Capuchin as well, Yves and I headed towards the exit. Miraculously, the path to the Institute was completely silent. It was eerie, even, as though someone had removed everyone else to make path for us. Sheen told us the entire test capsules and told us to enter the test capsules and that he would be back after making some preparations. I was sure he wanted to give us some time alone.
シアンさんが気遣いなんて。明日はきっと槍が降ってくるね。
I never thought Sheen was capable of being considerate. I'm sure it'll rain spears tomorrow. You're exaggerating, Yves. We giggled together like children getting ready for mischief. Yves then went about setting up the equipment at Sheen's instructions, and after Sheen finished operating the equipment remotely from his end, the capsules we were to enter appeared like ghosts.
俺が先に行くよ。
I'll go first. Kiss him before he goes in. Not waiting for my reply, Yves stepped into the
それ
capsule.
じゃあ
Alright then. Oh man.
頼むよ、みんな。俺のハリボテの英雄譚に付き合って。
Thank you for playing along with this false hero's tale, huh? And an instant was all over. The capsule closed faster than I imagined it would, and with a groan began some sort of operation. In the same instant that a spiral of light ran through the inside of the capsule, Yves' body began to break apart. Yves. I couldn't understand what was happening. It was planned that Yves would sacrifice his life first, but the process was supposed to take time, 3 hours at least. Suddenly, someone grabbed me from behind. I recognized this smell. Anku. We just bid our farewells to him, so why was he here? No. I had a bad feeling and quite quickly looked back at Yves.
嘘をついてごめん。やっぱり俺は
I'm sorry for lying to you, Leah. I
君
just
にもう少し生きていてほしい。
want you to live a little while
実
longer.
験体になるならせめて俺が死んだ後それでもどうしようもない状況になるまで待ってくれないかな。
If you have to be a test subject yourself, I hope you'll be able to wait until after I'm dead when it's completely
よ
hopeless.
り大掛かりに俺が死ねば
I'll die as many times as
君の
I
番に
need
なる
to.
前になんとかみんな正気に戻ると思うんだ。
I'm sure everyone will come back to their senses before it's your turn. This was the kindest and cruelest act of betrayal in all of the world. Let me go. I suspected that Yves asked him through a transmitter to get me away from this space. I twisted my body against Anku to try and get to Yves, but he didn't budge at all.
すまない。
Forgive me. Footage of Yves being deconstructed was played throughout the Institute as a public ceremony of breaking the curse. Hearing cries of shock from far away, I realized that it must be playing outside as well, everyone watching. They were captivated by this mysterious death no one had ever seen before of being broken down into individual cells. No, I would never forgive this betrayal. No, Yves. My screams were drowned out by the cheers of the citizens.
さよなら。君と出会い、愛することができて、本当に幸せだった。
Goodbye, Leah. I'm so happy I was able to meet you and fall in love with you.
幸せになって、なんて、君の気持ちを考えれば言えないけど。
Be happy. I can't really say that if I consider how you're feeling right
生
now.
きて欲しい。
But I want you to live.
責任も贖罪も、とりあえず俺に全部預けて。
All the responsibilities and atonements, just give it to
普
me.
通に、君らしく笑いながら。
And just smile like you always
俺
do.
は君が浮かべる心からの笑みが大好きだ。
I love your smile when you're laughing from the bottom of your heart. After a moment of looking as though he would
ま
cry.
たね。
Mata ne. See you later. He said his goodbye in his usual cheery way, and because became nothing more than a mass of cells in the cultivation tank. Even I could tell Anku was shaking as he bit his lip with frustration. Those cells would be used to save everyone. He truly is a hero, as the people cheered Eve's name aloud in the remembrance of him. I alone, I, from the bottom of my heart, felt a hatred for the heroic tale that was just born. That was the end of it? Wait, wait. Okay, let's see if I can get the other ending before I go to bed. Give me what I deserve. Is this? Story of compassion. Alright. I don't know how long this one's gonna be, but the other one was way long. Boop, 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 boop. I hit the wrong button. Give me what I deserve. Innuendos. Continuing to live will just cause misfortune to more people again. I knew my dramatic excuse would have normally convinced everyone between death, whose mere presence killed others, and a kind young man who had only the slightest resistance to the curse. I thought anyone would choose to remove the former and allow the latter to live. So long as the man didn't collapse after coughing up all the blood in his body. Everyone in the room froze silent. His body crumpled to the ground and began to tear apart from just the air brushing against it, revealing the flesh underneath. Huh? What just happened? Yves! I hurried towards him to pick him up, but the moment I touched his skin, a portion of it slipped right off his flesh. What the?
このタイミングで限界が来ちゃったか。
I guess I'm at my limit now.
これからもっと
My body will get messier and more disgusting.
君は触らない方が
So you probably shouldn't touch it much. Erratic gasps were caught in my throat. And next moment, I was pushed aside and the scientists all examined his condition.
これは
This is...
嘘でしょ。イブさん、この状態で何日も平静を装ってたんですか？
You must be joking. Yves, you pretended to be fine for several days in this condition? The hot gasp as he lifted the clothes that covered an abnormally large quantity of bandages wrapping tightly around Yves' body. Underneath them, I could see hints of necrosis and flesh beginning to fall off of him. I was at a loss for words at the state of his body, which was clearly rotting away. What is happening to Yves' body? I asked my question in an unsteady voice.
リコリスから解放された数百年分の毒素に漂流者の血族だから耐えられた。
He was able to withstand hundreds of years worth of the toxins released from the Lycoris because he has blood of the drifter.
僕たちのそんな安易な判断は
Our simple calculations were completely off. What do you
わ
mean?
からないのかね。爆弾を設置した時点ですでに染色体は限界を迎えていた。
You don't get it? Even at the moment he had set those explosives, his chromosomes were already at their limit.
彼はその限界をただの気力で凌駕していただけに過ぎない。
You can't see his hand, but he's got like a dramatic pose going on, capuchin. He simply went beyond the limits out of sheer
染色
willpower.
体は汚染を通り越し、ほぼ壊れきっている。今の彼は動く屍も同然だ。
His chromosomes aren't just tainted, they're almost completely destroyed. Right now, he's practically a moving corpse. Summarizing what the other two had to
生贄
say.
になろうがなるまいが、こいつはもうすぐ死ぬ。
Whether he becomes a sacrifice or not, he's going to die very soon. Sheen gave his proclamation of despair to us. Why must he die? Yves just wanted to save everyone. He was working so hard.
諦めるな。あの時のように私の血を飲ませれば間に合うはず。
Don't give up, Leah. If we just have him drink my blood like before, he can still make it. Anku took out a knife from his pocket and was about to slash at his own arm.
無駄だ。お前が抗体を宿しているのには気づいていたが。
It's no use. I know you possess the antibodies within you,
それで
but
は汚染には対抗できても、破壊された染色体の再生まではできんだろう。
even if they can fight against the contamination, they cannot rebuild his destroyed chromosomes. Anku grunted and stopped himself, perhaps realizing it was true. As all that was happening, piece after piece of Yves' body continued to break down. It was like a nightmare.
本当にもうどうにもならないのか。
Can we really do nothing for him?
こいつがこんな形で死んだら、俺はヒューゴに顔向けができねえ。
I won't be able to face Hugo if he dies like this. Hugo's already dead, it's fine. For the first time ever, Adolphe looked at Sheen, whom he despised so much, with pleading eyes. However, Sheen's response was a silent no. The god seemed to admit that there was finally someone that not even he could save. Oh no, 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 no. I began crying pathetically in response to the fresh blood dripping to the ground. Yves' body is falling apart. Please, no, stop. No matter how much I tried desperately to scoop him back up and hold him together. Oh! Please, God, I will do anything. Don't kill and let him live. Please don't take any more of Yves' life from me instead. Please. Please, someone, please save the person I love. I felt I was losing my mind as I cried.
泣かないで。
Don't cry, Leah.
俺はこの結末を覚悟
My
して
dude. This is what she deserves. Just curious.
来たんだから。
I came all this way knowing my fate. Yves' shaking finger wiped away the tears falling from my eyes. Even though his flesh was so torn apart, even when he was in so much pain, he probably wanted to scream, Why? Why aren't you crying?
嬉しくて
I'm just happy.
君が俺のこと愛してる
I'm just happy that you shouted how you love me, Leah.
からあ
I feel
恋人同士になれたんだなって
we were really able to be
実
lovers.
感して
I couldn't hold myself back any longer and held Yves with all of my
ダ
strength.
メだ今の俺
No,
汚い
I'm so unclean right now. No, you aren't. No matter how you look, you'll always be the person I love. You're the precious guardian who came to me. Like that. That looks like actual tears. What the heck? What was that other one they kept using for when he was crying? A tear slid from the corner of Eve's eyes.
シア
Sheen,
なんだ
what? His faltering voice addressed
俺
Sheen.
の染色体
My chromosomes.
全部が壊れてるわけじゃ
It's not like they're completely
Nine.
destroyed, right?
ですよね
全て壊れていたらお前は喋ることすらできん
If they were, you wouldn't be able to talk right now.
よかった
Good.
使え
Then-
ますね
You can use them.
この国を救うための実験に
In your experiment to save the country. He was a fool. This man, he was such a fool.
ああそっか
I see.
自分でもこの状況でどうして生きていられるのか
I was wondering how it was I could still possibly be alive.
とこの時のためだったんだ
But I think it was for this moment.
家にするなら死が決定している方を選べば
You need a sacrifice. You should choose the one who's certainly going to die. Please stop. Please stop reminding me of your death.
俺
For my sake,
どうせ死ぬなら君が愛したすべてを
I'm going to die anyways. I want to die
Mamotte.
protecting you
死にたい
and everything you love.
なんて独りよがり
You think that's
Kinda.
selfish of me? Why can't they just have a good ending? Like, why can't they just have a happy ending? Why can't they just be, and then they lived happily ever after? Why? Having reached the ultimate level of kindness, he smiled like the happiest person in the world. I couldn't even tell him he was wrong. I bawled like a child clinging onto Yves' body. I wouldn't hand him over. I wouldn't let him be used. I wouldn't let him be a sacrifice. Yves was going to be with me forever. I screamed those words out loud to try and protect him from everything around us. But perhaps because I grabbed onto him so tightly, Yves' body broke apart even faster.
もうよせ
Leah let him go. Adolphe held my shoulders, his voice wavering. No! I'm the one who was supposed to die. I won't let Yves meet his end like this.
やめろ
Leah. My body shook, startled, and I relaxed my hold on Yves' arm just a bit. Suddenly, Yves, who was hardly even able to breathe, stood up on his own strength, continuing to break his body.
イブ
Yves,
大丈夫
it's okay. It's okay. She's just excited. Adolphe moved to support him, but he gently declined. After spilling out more of what might be blood, flesh, or organs, he made it to the capsule that was prepared for his experiments. Wait! He addressed me as I chased after him.
ごめん俺は今から君に呪いをかける
Sorry, Leah, I'm going to be putting a curse on you now. Yves gently put something in my hand. It was the mask Yves used to hide his burn. He spoke with nostalgia as he told me that he received it from a certain merchant. I took it and held it in my own shaking
生き
hands.
てこの仮面と共に
Live, and with this mask,
イブノワージュという男が優しい死神を心から愛したことを
please remember the man,
覚え
Yves
ていて
Noriji, who loved the gentle death from the bottom of his heart.
その記憶は君しか持っていない
You're the only one who shares those memories. I burst into tears again. I want to send him off telling him something to make him feel better. Sheen, who understood that Yves accepted his fate, started up the machine through the controls. If you have to die, please take me with you. If I'm with you, I'm not afraid to die.
ごめんそれはできない
Sorry, that I can't do.
君を愛し愛された記憶が事実が
By the way, he almost has a fang. I'm just trying to distract myself from how sad this is. My memories of loving you and being loved by you, the reality of
こ
that.
の世界から消えることの方が俺にとっては
To
恐ろしい
have that disappear from the world is far more terrifying to me. After explaining himself, Yves mustered the last of his strength and pushed me outside of the capsule. I desperately reached back out to him but failed. At almost the same time, I fell to the ground.
普通の人間になった君が
You're a normal person now.
たくさんの人に自分との愛を語る未来を
I can't wait to the future where you talk about our love.
大好きだよ俺のお姫様俺は全てを救うと決めたけど
I love you, Leah. I chose to save everyone.
愛しているのは君だけだ
But the one I love is you alone. Those were the last words he could muster. And after the capsule sealed closed, his body no longer moved. They're red. This land was once known as the land touched by death over 50 years ago. Humans were quite peculiar. Whatever tragedy or calamity struck them, after only a short while, they rebuilt their towns and naturally grew in numbers again.
リライバー技術がなくても
Even without reliver technology. The infuriating man upheld his promise with a friend of my soul. With the friend of my soul. Okay. With that experiment as his last, he stopped sacrificing any more people in his studies and used both the extended lifespan given by Yves as well as the antibodies within me. The toxin eating away at Arpichel were completely eradicated, as was the practice of destroying lives with reliver technology. I didn't even know where he was anymore. He suddenly disappeared once his research was
普
complete.
通なら寿命を全うしているところなのだろうが
A normal person would be living out the rest of their life. But knowing him, I couldn't help but think about that he had become immortal through some other sort of technology, and that was because where Yves and his wife Leah rested, flowers were regularly laid at their gravesite.
久しぶりだな二人とも元気にしてたか
It's been a while, Leah. Yves, how have you two been?
なんて死者にする話ではない
I guess the Ted can't really respond, huh? In their stead, the red Lycoris responded by swaying in the wind. A year after Yves sacrificed his own body to save the country. Unable to handle the despair, Leah took her own life. The last promise Eve asked of her was too heavy of a burden to fulfill. I couldn't forget the despair I felt when her body was found, but I hoped at the very least that they wouldn't be separated in death. Really? So stupid. Are you for real right now? Ugh. You could have done something so different than this. Why? Oh my god. That's so dumb. She could have married Adpole at that point. Jesus. Okay, her family arranged that they both be buried in the same place, although there were only bone fragments of Eve's body left after the experiments.
俺にもっと力があれば
If only I were stronger.
美しい赤い未来に二人を連れて行くことができたのだろうか
I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm crying. It makes sense. Oh my god. Maybe I could have brought them into the future of bright scarlet
俺は
blossoms.
何のためにこの長い時を生きていたのか
This isn't your fault, Anku. This is the script writing. What have I lived this long for? I fell into despair as well from allowing both of them to die. There was even a point in time where I thought to use that bullet to kill
今
myself,
の
but
俺は彼に代わるリコリスの守護者の一人
right now I'm the guardian of the Lycoris in his
無
place.
責任に死んで楽になるわけにはいかない
I can't let myself be so irresponsible as to die now for my own sake.
さて
God. Oh my god, please stop. Alright, it's time to go. I couldn't stand to see him when they first died, but I should go see the other guardian of Lycoris who had grown to be somewhat decent person over the past 50 years.
まさか私が大嫌いな自分と共に新たな守護者になるとはね
I never thought I'd be the new guardian alongside the version of me I hated so much. I really did hate it, but I considered it punishment for being unable to save those two. I cleared my throat, which served as the marker for me to switch back to Anku, who she held so dear.
では私はこれで失礼するよ守護者殿に姫君
Now then I shall be taking my leave, guardian and my dear
心
princess.
配しないでくれこの国に咲いた美しい赤いリコリスたちと共に
Please.
私は生きていく
Do not worry, I'll continue to live on alongside the beautiful scarlet lycoris that blossom.
なぜなら君たちの愛をこの世界に永遠に残すことができるのは
This is because the only one who can leave evidence in this world of your love for each other
このアンクー以外に
is none other
い
than
ないの
Anku.
だから
I returned to the place I belong where I would grow the lycoris that the two loved so much, so that the two of them in heaven could look upon the flower fields here and admire their beauty. Not even a story. It wasn't even a story. Not even. Fluff. No, I'm not happy. Happy. Okay. Well, we did it, sort of. That was the new ending, right? I think. I could be wrong. I'm gonna mark it as the new ending, which means, Nyx, hi! Which means next time we're gonna be doing Encore? Is that what I did? Did I do Encore? Yeah, that's... No, that feels like what I just did. Is this what I did? It said side end. Side end. Okay. Virche de la Coda. That's what we're gonna do next time. And then you pick Despair or Salute. So that's what we're gonna do on the next fun adventure when I'm not crying over Stupid bad endings. Like, hear me out. I get it. Ooh, edgy. Like, come on. Like, ugh. Oh, gosh. How can they treat my boy this way? Like, he never gets a good ending. He never gets a good ending. Look at this ending. This is him as a corpse. Look at this ending. This is him dying. And he's... Oh my gosh. Anyways. Thank you guys for being here and suffering with me on this lovely evening. It's 1 a.m. now, and I said I was going to play for about 2 hours. It's been a little over. So I'll continue Eve's story on the next super fun adventure of Virche is trying to make me hate my life. I assume that's what this adventure is at this point. I don't know how I feel. Like, I was really excited for the fan disc for Virche, and this was good. I'll be like, I cried, whatever. But like, I'm so frustrated because like, Mathis's story wasn't really about Mathis. Lucas's story should have been way shorter. Whom else is there? Is that it? Is that all I've actually played all the way through? How many routes were there again? 5? Yeah, and then Yves is who we're on right now. Right? Oh, I'm forgetting Sheen. Sheen's was fine. But Sheen's already was fine. Like, his ended with... His was just kind of what you expect at that point. I hit a button. It's fine. Everything's fine. That seems right. Anywhoosies, that's fire. I hope you guys have a lovely evening. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember, I stream about 3 times a week on Twitch. If you want to see me live streaming, you can come by and say hi. I appreciate it. Also, keep giving me suggestions for future games. Some of them I will not be playing right away, I know for sure. Anything that doesn't have a physical release, I don't prioritize buying, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, oh my gosh. PO4 is going to be our next game after we finish Virche, which has been quite a trip, honestly. Whew. And hopefully we'll have like another stream where I just work on the side stories, which honestly we've got half of them done, so we're getting close. We're getting real close to that too. Alrighty, I hope you guys have a lovely evening or day, whatever time you're watching this. I appreciate you. Thank you, Blue, for being here. Thank you, Nyx, for being here. Thank you, Anne, for keeping me hydrated. I hope you guys have a lovely night. I will see you guys later.